Ballyhoo and welcome. The Passion Project continues. My name is Remedy Robinson, and this is an appreciation. This is an exploration of linguistics, language, and a charming clash of cultures as framed by the peerless poetry of the modern-day master, Elvis Costello. Today's slow drag is with TKO Boxing Day from Punch the Clock, released in 1983. The songwriting is credited to Elvis Costello. In the span of just 3 verses, our beloved entertainer comes out swinging, if you will, with the punchy little piece full of double meanings that then double back on themselves for good measure. As we all know, the typical Elvis Costello fan is not typical at all. You're a cut above, a smart lot that not much gets past. So it's tricky to know how much detail to go into about the dual meaning of this piece. Suffice it to say, it obviously plays upon both the sport and the traditional day where, depending on your perspective, donations are made or you're simply afforded the luxury of getting rid of stuff you don't want. For this slow drag, I'm thrilled to say that we get to also tap into an exciting feature of linguistics not often spoken of, namely morphology, and how unsurprisingly Mr. Costello has been able to bend this one of 5 linguistic domains to suit his purposes. You can run all you like, from the classroom or the cot, from a great big man or tiny tot, but from this day, every day will be Boxing Day. Don't need your indecision, let there be no doubt. Don't need your permission, I can count you out. I can count you out.
TKO.
Linguistically, grammatically, scientifically, or even emotionally, as pleasing and as vivid as they certainly are, I've never been quite able to adequately parse just exactly what the first 2 lines of this piece means. Have you? A cot, a tot, a classroom, and a big man. A great big man. Great imagery, of course, yet none of it seems to want to coalesce. What a wonderfully off-kilter way to start this dizzying piece. I just like the sound of the words as they've been arranged, and sometimes that's enough. Set down in a pleasing AAXBBB pattern, this first verse has an abundance of slant rhymes and clever identical rhymes scattered throughout for our buried treasure-seeking enjoyment. Take the 3rd line, for instance. Contained within 12 syllables, the word day is repeated 3 times, although it hardly seems noticeable until you do a sexy slow drag with this exceptional phrasing. But from this day, every day will be Boxing Day. Wow. There's even a nice alliteration added by the seemingly inconsequential word but to complement the word boxing, which is written out in capital letters, signifying that, keeping with the dual meaning of the at play, Boxing Day is still considered a proper holiday. In addition to repeating the word day, in the 6 lines of this first verse, there are 2 more instances of identical rhymes, with the first not feeling exactly overt. Don't need your is repeated in quick succession, preceding the words indecision and permission, with indecision being our first example of Mr. Costello's clever use of morphology as he conjures pugilistic ineptitude. The second identical rhyme is probably not considered strictly identical. I'm not sure, as I can count you out might just be the same line repeated twice, but for today's purposes, I'd like to fit it into the hidden in plain sight sort of identical rhyme motif. They put the numb into number, put the cut into cutie. They put the slum into slumber and the boot into beauty. But from this day, every day will be Boxing Day. It's a fight to the finish, let there be no doubt. As the seconds turn to minutes, I can count you out. I can count you out.
TKO.
As with the first verse, the second verse is presented in 6 lines, laid down in an AAXBBB pattern. The unparalleled controlled chaos that flows through Mr. Costello's work is an absolute marvel to behold. And here, too, his sublime use of pronouns is once again on full and elegant display. In the first verse, I'd say the use of the word you works as a collective noun to address everyone and no one in particular. Simply, you can run all you like. Now the focus has shifted to a more conspiratorial angle with the use of they put. And again, more identical rhyming that hardly stands out. Notice how the identical rhyme slides effortlessly into a slant rhyme. Again, hardly noticeable. What do I mean? Okay, they put the numb, they put the cut, they put the slum, yet they did not put the boot. The word put is omitted completely, allowing the word boot in a way to take the place of put. It breaks the rules of parallel structure, yet sounds so natural that the pulse rate of even the strictest prescriptive grammarian would fail to rise upon hearing this. Even though Boxing Day is once again capitalized, signifying the holiday, the pugilistic meaning of the phrase takes center stage with the overt mention of a fight, the subsequent mangled use of boxing terms that fracture into a few different meanings depending on how they're parsed. And once again, the repeated mention of being counted out, which I'll once again count as an identical rhyme. In this context, it seems difficult to avoid equating the term with down for the count, which interestingly would be a KO as opposed to a TKO. Oh, Mr. Costello, how did you get so clever? Trust that shivers of joy are running down my spine as I now delve into Mr. Costello's linguistic prowess. His use of the derivational morphology began with indecision in the first verse of this piece, using a prefix to change the meaning of the word decision, which is often used in the sport of boxing to establish the outcome of a technical knockout. Makes the head spin a bit, doesn't it? Well, in brief, morphology concerns the internal structure of words, their form and how they're built. Inflectional morphology modifies existing words to reflect grammatical changes such as tense and number without altering their core meaning. For example, walk, walked, dog, dogs. Derivational morphology, on the other hand, uses prefixes, suffixes, and occasionally infixes to create entirely new words, often shifting both their meaning and their grammatical function. For instance, art becomes artist, kind becomes kindness, and decide becomes indecision, where the prefix in not only changes the meaning, but also shifts the part of speech from a noun to a state of being. In this second verse, we see Mr. Costello busting the rules of derivational morphology, much like he does with idioms, by breaking the words down into their logical yet incorrect constituent parts. Numb from numbers, cut from cutie, slum from slumber, and stretching this pattern a bit, boot into beauty. His ability to see beyond words themselves, tapping into their potential for subdivision and reinvention, is part of why it behooves us to indulge in these sexy slow drags, paying homage to every scratch, every click, every twist of language. You need a back to break or a back to stab. Now your birthday suit looks dull and drab. Every day will be Boxing Day. Now you don't look so glamorous. Whenever I feel so amorous, I can count you out.
TKO.
This third verse, just like the first two, contains 6 lines in an AAX-BBB structure, more controlled chaos. The pronoun you is used again, but this time it feels more pointed, fully engaging the second person, especially when it gets personal, describing a birthday suit as dull and drab. There's more identical rhymes with a back to repeated twice, a back to break and a back to stab, yet it doesn't feel overt. Now you don't look so glamorous could absolutely be yet another boxing reference. Violence and reckoning. Maybe love really is just skin deep. TKO.
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 Dig it. Again, this has been a slow drag with TKO Boxing Day from 1983's Punch the Clock. In a piece consisting of 156 words, there are only 71 novel words, meaning there are many words repeated. You is uttered 9 times, day is uttered 8, yet the metaphors, the imagery, the scientific use of word parts continue for days. There are many lines where the meaning escapes me, and I'm still to reconcile how exactly December 26th factors into this allegory. Maybe you do, or perhaps you've done the world a service and have coded your own meaning on it. In addition to so many great attributes, I think that's part of what sets our beloved entertainer so far above the rest. There is no one answer, no one meaning. Even a song from 1983 remains fresh and exhilarating as a result. When I mentioned how excited I was to find that the word day shows up 3 times in the span of just 12 syllables in this piece, my friend, without a second's worth of deliberation, announced, "But I'm more interested in the meaning." Maybe they'll start their own podcast about more trivial pursuits, like how to turn the pleasingly imponderable into the utterly mundane. As for me, I'll continue to stick with doing a sexy slow drag with all the joy and linguistics of it all. Other precious gems from Punch the Clock you'll enjoy a slow drag with are episodes 11, Blow the Whistle on the Whole Design. It's a slow drag with King of Thebes. Episode 38, his tribute of a rose. It's a slow drag with The Greatest Thing. Episode 60, Sotto Voce, slow drag with Charm School. Episode 94, Faster and Faster, a slow drag with The Invisible Man. Episode 97, No Amount of Darkness. That's a slow drag with one of my personal favorites, The Town Where Time Stood Still. And episode 114, The Lure of Vitriol. It's a slow drag with The World and His Wife. And that's it for today's slow drag, my fellow aficionado. Thank you for listening. I'll be back soon with another slow drag, and thank you for helping to get the word out about this little passion project. So, until next time, adieu, my little ballyhoo. Slow drag with Remedy.